And welcome back. Okay, there are some things that you can all do to reduce the allergens inside and outside your homes. But first, we have Dr. William Bowman here, and I want to touch a little bit more on the peanut allergies we were talking about in all the children. So now there is a treatment drug that's being studied through the FDA called AR-101. Tell us a little bit about that and your feelings about it.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about it. For years, patients have been asking, is there anything new on the horizon? Is there a time that we can maybe, my child not be so allergic, or adults for that matter? And it looks like that may be on the horizon. What AR-101 is a biologic drug that basically contains amounts of peanut protein at very minute levels. Then the child in this study was given an amount every single day, increasing doses of it for a 6-month period. Then for the last 6 months of the study, they were given that same top dose for that period. Then at a year, they were, in a sense, challenged, given a peanut challenge, and the vast majority of them tolerated approximately about 2 peanuts worth of peanut protein, and the vast majority did very, very well. It was very safe and effective. Up until now, it's been, avoid peanuts, and if you're having a reaction, then we're just going to have to treat you for it. It looks like down the road, there may be a way to, especially with these inadvertent accidental ingestions, this treatment isn't to make it so that you can eat all the peanuts you want, but what people fear is, like, what if there's some peanut in a cookie and something really bad happens?
An accidental. All right, well, excellent. Well, we'll stay hopeful that that does continue and comes about. So now let's talk about what we can do in our homes and the situations there. I guess one of the things we often hear about, dust mites. What are some of the symptoms, I guess, to even identify if you have them? Yeah,
well, dust mite allergy, typically the dust mites live in the pillows and the mattresses. They live in surfaces. They can be in the carpet, and they cause histamine release if you're allergic. So you're going to have the same itchy, sneezy, watery eyes. A lot of times people with dust mite allergies will have problems year-round because the dust mites are around all the year. Oftentimes they're in the bedding, so kids or adults will wake up first thing in the morning stuffy and bothered or have problems sleeping.
So do you have to get rid of, like, all of your bedding and get rid of your carpet to get rid of the dust mites?
Well, and a lot of it, that's one reason why testing is important, to sort of see, okay, is really dust mites the problem? If you're not dust mite allergic, it's not as crucial to do that. But we do recommend encasings or impermeable covers that are dust mite proof for the pillows, for the mattresses. Try to minimize exposure to, the dust in the homes. Ridding the carpet, probably isn't as important as what you're doing in the bedding for most people.
And another one that we hear about in our homes and stuff, a lot of people suffer from mold allergies. I know we're in a very humid region down here.
Right.
So, how do you handle that and deal with it, the mold allergy?
Well, what's interesting is the mold tends to be higher levels generally outside than inside. So if you're not really seeing a lot of dust, mold, water damage, musty smell, the mold probably isn't as contributory as when you're seeing it outside with the mushrooms and puffballs sprouting up. But certainly any evidence of water damage, decreasing the humidity to less than 50%. So having a dehumidifier may help. And of course, getting rid of any evidence of mold is important.
All right. And another one that, we love our pets. We love having them inside in the house with us and everything, but that can cause some irritants. I mean, what is it about pets that can cause us and, the suffering?
Well, the pets emit these proteins, and it can be in the saliva, the urine, the dander, which really not so much the hair or the fur, it's like the flakes of skin, contain these proteins that the body's immune system can react against. And it causes histamine release, and it can cause, again, the classic allergy symptoms, itching, sneezing, watery eyes. If you're asthmatic, it could set off that kind of reaction.
Wow, okay. And another thing that we don't like to talk about, some people might call them water bugs or whatnot, but we're talking about the cockroaches. Really? Cockroaches can add to allergies?
Yeah. Fortunately for most people, unless there's really a cockroach infestation, it's not generally going to be that relevant, but especially in some of the inner cities or some of these urban dwellings where there's infestations, the cockroach debris can become sort of part of the air that you breathe, and you can react against it.
All right, Dan, one last thing for you before we're wrapping up here. The air purifiers, the HEPA filters, Good, bad, work, not work?
Yeah, I think they can be helpful. Honestly, a lot of it depends on what your problem is. I mean, if you're allergic to the seasonal allergies, you go outside, you're going to have problems. So having an air purifier is not going to make that much of a difference. That being said, if you have pets, certainly if there's cigarette smoke or irritants, if the quality of the air isn't good in the home, then they can be very beneficial in basically filtering out these small particles, irritants, and allergens.
All right, Dr. Bowman, thank you very much for being with
sure.
us. And thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Public Affairs on Peach. And be sure to like Public Affairs on Peach on Facebook. There we post our upcoming episodes and ask for your feedback as well. That is it for this week's edition of Public Affairs on Peach. We'll see you back here next week.